Ava clutched the fraying straps of her old backpack as her mother's furious words echoed in her mind. Rain pelted down, soaking through her thin jacket as she trudged aimlessly down the dark street. She was alone, scared, and heartbroken. "I told you not to start a relationship with Jason. You just won't listen to your mother. You've disgraced this family." "Ava," Mia had shouted, her eyes blazing with anger. "How could you let this happen?" And with that useless boy who ran off the moment, things got hard. "You're on your own now. I can't have you here, bringing shame to our name." Ava couldn't remember how she had managed to pack her things with trembling hands, or how she even made it out of the house. She just knew she had nowhere to go. At 20 years old and 6 months pregnant, she'd been cast into the cold world with nothing but a few belongings and a shattered heart. The memory of Jason's betrayal stung just as deeply. "I'm not ready to be a father," he had said, his face devoid of remorse. "You'll figure it out. I can't do this." And with those words, he had walked away, leaving her to bear the weight of responsibility alone. However, Jason was criticized and laughed at by many. He hardly makes enough money for himself. Ava often found herself haunted by the choices that had led her there. She would catch herself wishing she had never met Jason, whose lies and cowardice had cost her so much. While she adored her unborn child, the regret of trusting the wrong person lingered in her heart. Their story served as a reminder that anger and pride could tear families apart, but love and forgiveness could heal even the deepest wounds. In the end, both Ava and Mia learned that it was never too late to choose love.
My daughter, Victoria, got pregnant, but her boyfriend Tom had abandoned her, and the news, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was overwhelmed with anger and disappointment, and I couldn't bear the thought of my daughter raising a child out of wedlock. In a fit of rage, I kicked Victoria out of the house, leaving her to fend for herself. Victoria, heartbroken and scared, packed her belongings and left, unsure of where to go. While she was packing her bags, she said, "Mom, how could you do this to me?" with her tears streaming down her face. But I looked at her while my arms crossed and said, "Get out! You're a disgrace." I said it without realizing my words could break her heart. With nowhere else to turn, Victoria found refuge in a small, rundown apartment. She struggled to make ends meet, working long hours to support herself and her unborn child. Despite the hardships, she remained determined to provide a better life for her baby. One stormy night, as Victoria was walking home from work, she was struck by a speeding car. The impact was severe, and she was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. News of the accident reached me, who was devastated by the thought of losing my daughter. I rushed to the hospital, my heart heavy with guilt and regret. I sat by Victoria's bedside, holding her hand and praying for her recovery. As I watched my daughter fight for her life, I realized the gravity of my actions. I had let my anger and pride drive a wedge between us, and now I feared it might be too late to make amends. While looking at my daughter, my heart filled with guilt, tears streaming down my face. She was everything to me. How could I do this to my baby girl? If anything happens again to her, I'll never forgive myself. Days turned into weeks, and Victoria slowly began to recover. I never left her side, offering her love and support. I apologized for my harsh words and actions, vowing to be there for Victoria and her grandchild. Victoria, though hurt by her mother's initial reaction, saw the sincerity in a mother's eyes. She forgave me, understanding that people could change and grow. Together, we rebuilt our relationship, finding strength in our love for each other. And that was my story. And my name is Margaret. And years later, I watched my daughter and grandchild play in the garden. Love and compassion were far more important than societal expectations, and that family should always come first.